and ready, and then let us know when you're ready to go. So hello everyone. We're really delighted to kick off the first of our series of Little Lunches Online. So myself, Norm Horton, and Sarah Moynihan from Feral Arts, we're based here on Cubby Cubby lands of the Sunshine Coast, and this is a response, I suppose, to the situation we all find ourselves in with the emergence of the coronavirus, and also I guess the climate crisis is another kind of thing that's happening that this group can kind of be a part of responding to. The sort of work that we all do together is changing, but in a sense, we've just got to adapt and work out how to kind of get ourselves to respond to these new situations. So if Lyndon is right to go, I might just pass over, and so Lyndon Davis is smiling, he's laughing, let's see what he's doing.
We're not ready, but I'll just hold it, eh?
That's right. Okay.
Okay, it's like a big picture of me there, yes.
Yeah. So, well, thank you, Lyndon. Do you want to take us away?
Go away. Wanya ngalam jananggu. Karin nami jojo mobirono jagun gungan yondo. Gideon jundul go. Hello, and welcome. My name is Lyndon Davis, descendant of the traditional custodians of the Mooloolah Plains, Maroochy districts, Sunshine Coast, coastal plains area. Very privileged to be here to be chatting with everyone and to give everybody a wanya. Wanya is the word for welcome in my part of the landscape here, Gubby Gubby country, Gubby Gubby speaking people, and I'm very privileged to use my ancestors' language to welcome everybody. We are all descendants of the traditional custodians, and feel very huge privilege to take on that position and to continue on the custodianship for the next generation. And so welcome all the other custodians that are here online that I'm talking to right now. I welcome you all, and everybody that live here, we're all the custodians now. Our ancestors were such great custodians before us, but everybody that lives on this landscape today are the new custodians. And so, the more we know about our land, where we come from, the history in the landscape there and the people that live there, the better off we are for the future generations. So on behalf of the families there, Galangu and Yin, which means good you, thank you. Wanya Yanyaran, Wanya Yanyaran Gun, welcome all the good spirits. And thank you very much for the opportunity. And Wanya. Back to you, Norm. No.
So thanks. Thank you, Lyndon. That's really much appreciated. We had hoped for Lyndon to be able to be outside in the beautiful Cubby Cubby lands where he's based here on the Sunshine Coast to do the presentation this morning, but we've got a really rainy day here, and so he was forced inside at the last minute, and so we're adapting as we go. This is the world we're in. So we've already got a great group of people online, and so thank you all very much for joining. This is obviously something that's been pulled together quickly and at short notice, and we're going to continue to work on all of the approaches. But today, essentially, was just a chance to start ourselves off, to check in with a core group of people, yourselves, and help give this some shape and turn it into something that is potentially useful for us as we kind of all deal with the reality of our lives now. So the idea, I guess, for Little Lunch Online was really just a quick daily check-in with people to connect, kind of to keep connected, to share ideas, to share thinking about how we're doing stuff. There's a lot of amazing work going on across the sector, and it's really exciting to see people responding in so many different ways. The Facebook group that's been established by an amazing group of people, and we'll go there briefly in a screen share just to kind of show anyone who hasn't kind of been there yet, is collecting an incredible network of people across the country and internationally, and an amazing body of resources. So it's a fantastic resource, and one of our big jobs is to work how to really connect strongly and well with that Facebook network, and so that the things that happen here are complementary and kind of can give us some added value for that. So they've also kind of, I guess, gone into that process of working out protocols for doing this sort of stuff at the moment, and set up a lot of really good strategies. So tomorrow we're going to have one of the administrators from the group, Dan's going to come online, and she's going to tell us a little about how they approached that, and also what things we might be able to learn in terms of how we work together as a group online. Yeah, now just want to introduce Susan, who's doing the signing for us today, and we're going to be including signing in all of the little lunches online to improve the accessibility for people. We'll need to work out how, as we're doing that, to make the video side of that work. We might need to do like a separate screen capture of those videos and post a couple to online so that we can get the access working. So it's a little bit experimental today, but we're trying to start, in the way that we intend to approach this, which is to be as inclusive as we can of different people. And we'll make mistakes along the way, but hopefully we can learn a bit and get better at this work as we go. We're also having a couple of different goes at doing captioning for these videos. And at the moment, Melissa from Arts Nexus is helping out with the captioning. We'll move that role around the group as we go, just to share it. We're also going to try some online services that provide like an automatic translation that can come back in, and we'll test that stuff out. It's the kind of a thing that could be really useful for us, because it could give us a way to translate into other languages and sort of make access for people in other who speak other languages also open to this process. The First Nations First is like obviously a core principle of the Arts Front work, and that's been demonstrated here today with Lyndon starting us off, but also this week of lunches is really trying to focus strongly on First Nations starting point for what the experiences are of people under the coronavirus stuff. And we're going to go back to Lyndon shortly and just ask him to explain to us from his point of view as an artist and a creator and a business person what the impact of this has been at this stage. And there's an opportunity, we think, for us to see what sort of role these technologies might be able to play in helping us to continue to observe those kind of first people's first protocols. So there could be online events, other online events like this, where we still work out how to use the technology to bring people like Lyndon or the appropriate people into the process, do a welcome, and through that way we can both potentially keep that industry going and also keep our respective of First Peoples. I might just for a moment ask Lyndon to just say a couple of words about this from his perspective as an artist, and also and from what the impact is on it as a business.
Yeah, it's been a huge impact on us.
Need to speak up, sorry.
It's been a huge impact on our business as far as performance and educational we're always in the schools, we're always doing local events, and called off for something like 60 jobs that's been called up in the last week. So it's definitely that's going to have a big impact on us. But luckily, a little bit of work there. goes. But yeah, definitely it's going to impact us. It's going to impact a lot of local businesses in the community. Keep my Lord Jewel looks big. Yeah, but yeah, big impact on the community.
Okay. I was struggling to hear Lyndon a bit there, but I'm hoping, it seems like Melissa was able to do a good job of captioning quite a bit of it. So it's the connected audio is not great for Lyndon at the moment. But can I just get a check-in from other people about how the audio is working for them? Can maybe just if the audio is working okay for you when I'm speaking, just maybe give the hands up there.
Yeah, you're good, Norm. You're all good.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's good. So, you know, can we have a quick look? We've got a comments and chat section on the Zoom call here that we can use. And what we'd like people to do today is take a moment to say hi in the chat window, introduce yourself. We'd like you to tell us whose traditional country that you're on today, and just how you're traveling at the moment. So we'll just get a little record of people through that comments window, and that'll give us a way as we're moving forward, hopefully, to have more interactions with the conversation. And we've got an idea of the people who would like to ask a specific video question during the call. If they use that chat to type the word question or comment in capitals before they say it, then it'll be easy for us to pick out those people who want to get into the conversation as we're speaking. Yeah. So does that make sense as a way to approach it?
Very good.
Okay, great. I might, if it's okay, I might ask Leah Barclay to just introduce herself and tell us a little bit about what's happening from the perspective of the universities.
Sure, no worries. Thanks, Norm. And thanks for that beautiful welcome, Lyndon. My name's Leah Barclay. I'm on Gubbi Gubbi country. At the moment, I'm a lecturer in design at the University of the Sunshine Coast, and I guess some of the biggest challenges we're facing at the moment is, so much of the field work and research that we do directly with communities is pretty much halted. So we're sort of adapting to all of the ways that we work in self-isolation, and obviously take advantage of these virtual technologies and building on all the wonderful work that Feral Arts and Arts Front have been doing for many years to see how we can really build this, research and creative practice in virtual environments. Is that enough, Norm? Oh, you're muted, Norm, if you're talking.
Great, thank you, Leah. And can I ask Forrest if you could just introduce yourself as well and give us an update from Arts Access Victoria?
An update about what, Norm?
Well, what's going on there for you folk? How are you responding to what's going on?
I think down here on Dja Dja Wurrung country, we're doing pretty well. Mostly people are staying at home. There's been a lot of, I live near Castlemaine, and there's been a lot of community group organising support for people that are at home and encouraging each other to stay home. Our government seems to be doing fairly well at closing things down, a bit slower than would have been great, but it seems to be pretty good. We're working really hard at MAV to try and support artists and find ways to keep income streams open and lobby government agencies to provide some development money for artists. And that's about it.
Forrest, what sort of role do you think this kind of daily catch-up could play for the artists and communities that you're working with?
I think it can be good. I mean, it's interesting working regionally, like a lot of us in this meeting are. I'm actually feel more connected to my head office at the moment and other artists around the country because of these types of things that are happening. I think it's really important for people to still be able to perform, to sing, to do what they're doing. So watching those types of things happening is great, and something like this does provide a really great opportunity for artists to be able to still share their work with others, albeit it's quite difficult. Like, having watched a couple of concerts on YouTube, the performers look really frustrated without their audience. So I guess it's about working out the ways that can be more of that live feedback. So I think Zoom's a good platform for that.
Are there people here who've been active in the Facebook group that's developed, or been administrators on that group? Is there anyone online who's, yeah? Elliot, did you want to just give people a quick introduction to that group and what it's doing?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Elliot, currently working from home in Turrbal Yagara land, Brisbane. I'm not administrator of the Australian Arts Amidst COVID-19 Facebook group, but I have been involved and a member of it since early on. We will be joined by Dan, one of the administrators of it, hopefully a bit later. She's just in another meeting at the moment, and she'll also be joining us on one of the future Little Lunches online to talk about that group, how it came about, and how it's kind of handling, making decisions as a group on the fly. But for those of you who haven't seen it, it's about 14,000 members strong last time I looked, and it's a whole range of artists, particularly a lot of independent artists, connecting through Facebook in order to share information with each other, to provide advice and support around things like getting your content online, looking for new opportunities to earn an income when we're all feeling financial insecurity stresses, and just generally kind of supporting and encouraging each other to keep people's mental health as good as it can be in a moment like this.
Great, thanks, Elliot. So I don't know if this information about the lunches got out to people yet, but there's two elements that I want to try and talk to you all about today and to get your feedback. One is that we're putting out EOIs for artists to be live presenters on each of these lunches and to have their work presented, and providing fees for their artist presentation. So I want to kind of try to role model good practice in terms of ensuring artists whose live performance work, and independent practitioners in particular, who've lost income in the very short term, an opportunity to come in, perform and get paid for their work. And also through that, have a bit of a conversation about what does that look like? How can we, make this work well for us as organizations and for independent artists, and to get that system working. So that's one aspect of the lunches as the structure we're thinking at the moment. And one of the others is the idea of enabling the hosting of the lunches to move around the countryside and to be run by other organizations, and give us a chance to dig into the issues that are going on in a local community or a particular art form area. So I guess start to build up a program of future lunches, and have people nominate if they want to take on running those and organizing guest artists and that sort of thing. So is there anyone who wants to kind of jump in and give us some feedback on those two ideas and how we might do that well? Maybe just put your hand up and I can see if I can get you, or just unmute yourself. Oh, Simon. Yep, thank you. I'll just put Simon on.
Well, Simon and Victoria here.
Hey Vic, how you going?
Oh,
Good.
we're good. We're good. So we have a group of artists down here across the state who work in socially engaged ways. So we work with a project called Atelier. So we're looking at doing similar kinds of things, not on a daily basis like this. I think this is great, but we could certainly do something in the future. Say now, definitely, no problem with that. Do you want to say anything about us generally? Do you want to hear anything else?
I'd just like to add that a significant number of the 40 or so artists who are part of the Atelier group, as independent artists with children, families and communities, obviously have been very hard hit, and we know obviously many of them, their partners are also in the arts and are equally hard hit. So we're definitely reeling down here in Tasmania along with everyone else. Can I just flag up now? I've only just looked at it, but ITAC, which is the International Teaching Artists Collaborative, have put out a link to an American organization, Creative Generation. It's working with youth and the arts, and they're launching tomorrow their time, today our time, the other way around, a hashtag Keep Making Art, a campaign to basically foster hope. And I'll put up a link to the website. I've only just started to look at it, but it might be a good global initiative that ArtsFront could register up as being part of that.
The only last thing, the other thing, I'll just contribute if anybody as chair of Regional Arts Australia, just to reassure or hopefully that Regional Arts Australia are at the table with the Minister, meeting regularly to support the work of artists in remote and regional parts of Australia. Ros Abercrombie, who's our executive director, is there and is on the phone to the department kind of constantly. So just to say, if there's any updates on that, I can give those at least.
Okay, great. So that's like regional is going to be a big focus for this work, I think, and you know, in a sense, a great opportunity to be able to kind of do this kind of work from a regional setting where the connections allow us to, but also, you know, important issues for regional communities and infection and First Nations culture in particular that we're all going to need to be keeping ourselves aware of and working out how to safely do everything we can. Now, I think, Elliot, were you saying that Dan might have joined the call? But Dan, did you want to just introduce yourself and give us a little bit of background on the Facebook page?
Sure thing. Hi, I'm Dan. I'm in Naarm. I'm from the Facebook page, Australian Artist Submits COVID-19. Yeah, it was started by Alex Desabrock on like Wednesday a week ago, as in response to things looking like they were getting a bit hairy for artists. And then by Saturday, when the that big car race shut down, it like suddenly went through the roof as far as members went. And by Monday, we had 13,000 people on the page. And so really it started and is still evolving as it goes as a place for resources, sharing questions and learning important information for the arts community and the arts industry in Australia to be able to navigate this period of COVID-19 and be together with each other.
Thanks, Dan. Have you got any thoughts on where a group like this or like a process like the Little Lunches could connect and complement the work that's happening through the Facebook group?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yeah. How do you think the work that's starting to evolve through the Little Lunches online can connect to the Facebook group, and how do you think the relationships might fit?
Look, it's an interesting question. We're just at this moment, we've just put out a poll to the page to see what people need or want more information about it. And at this very moment, it's all about financial assistance and Centrelink and how to access Centrelink. And so I think what will come from that, from after this little moment dies down, is being able to link with other organizations. We do have quite a few chats going on, as in taking art online and being online with each other. And I think that's a really prominent part of where our industry is going to go. So it definitely there is interest and a need for that. And I think initiatives like this are really important for us at this time. As in the how, I'm not quite sure how to answer your question, to be honest. I mean, we're directing people to a lot of other pages. If things that come to our group are not quite within the guidelines of our group, we're directing them to other pages that already exist on Facebook as well, like Arts Being Online, Jobs for Artists, In Between, media, festival and event staff, all those things. So I think that's a really important way that we can link in our industry as well, is by sending people to all the other resources that are available to connect and to fill some of the gaps that are on our own personal feeds.
Okay, great. Sorry, sir. Is anyone else? Yeah, I've got Kelly. Might say hi.
Hi, this is Kelly Lee from Arundel Land meeting today in Mparntwe. I just want to flag cultural justice responses. We live in an incredibly vulnerable community here in Central Australia. We don't have any cases yet, but we also don't have any testing here, and the word's getting out on the ground about the conditions in remote communities and the lack of facilities, hand sanitizers. We've got communities up north reporting that they're running out of food. So I just wanted to suggest it would be really great to have at one of these meetings, maybe a roundup from some of the peak bodies that represent remote Aboriginal arts centres. I also just wanted to foreground a cultural justice response framework that needs to arise on top of individual artists' incomes, that addresses the kinds of issues that are going to affect communities culturally, and what our responsibilities as artists are. And also just flagging that although many of us in regional areas are seeing a benefit, like I'm certainly a lot more connected nationally than I have been, that does not extend to remote areas where broadband and data access is still limited, even though we do have towers in a lot of remote communities now. That's not for everyone.
Great, thank you. We've got time for a couple of other people if they want to join and just say an initial comment. I realise that I've made a mistake and haven't enabled the chat space on this call. So apologies for that. But there's a link, and on the Arts Front page, there's a link to the event page or the lunch page, and that's where the embed of the video is and stuff. So if we get big numbers on these groups, then there's an overflow space for that to help. So if everyone can use that to put their comments and questions, say hi, say who you are and whose land you're on, and maybe just flag as Kelly's just done, an idea for a lunch or a topic or a thing that we need to really push to the top of the list of our work together. If anyone has any issues finding that, just give us a hoy. But if you just go to the Little Lunch Online website, and there's a big button there, say to view YouTube Live, that should get you straight there. Let's see if there's anyone else who's got their hand up just at the moment. Eve Stafford. I think you're on, Eve. You're on mute there, Eve, sorry.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just
speak up a little bit if you can.
Okay, I'm on Jabberwock country in Kuranda near Cairns, and I'd just like to endorse what Kelly Lee said about themes lunches. So you might have a lunch, and then people can work out that they want to go on Tuesday and Friday because that is their that's more relevant to them. For example, there could be one about writers and writing and art centres and, you know, writers centres and you know, various other topics.
Okay, great. Now the two, there are two EOI forms that initial ones that we've created for artists who are interested in presenting their work and sharing their work via the lunches. So there's an artist EOI and there's also an EOI for hosting. But maybe we need to kind of broaden that a little bit and have a conversation about themes or people who want to put up, say for instance, Eve, in your case, if you wanted to suggest hosting a lunch from Kuranda and maybe theming that around writing and bringing in artists that you'd like to profile, that could be a mechanism for doing that. So let's have a look at those EOI pages, see if they help us to kind of give the next little bit of time a bit of shape too. Can I see if there's anyone else who wants to just say a quick hi or raise any other big issues? Because otherwise we will going to try and keep these to as close to the 30 minutes as we can, just to see how that goes. If it turns out that we need to change that format, we can. I think Bong was going to say hello too. I see he's just joined from, I think he was finishing off a Regional Arts Fund call. So thank you, Bong.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Just say hello to everyone.
Thank you.
Go.
Did you have any, well, I know we've had a chance, yeah, Bong's really pushing the technology a bit here with the background, that's lovely. Bong, could you, we're going to finish this first meeting up shortly, and I know there were a couple of things that you'd flagged in the planning for this one. Do you want to just share a little bit of your thinking?
Yes, well, one is the global or international dimension to this, and I think it's I guess very relevant to Australia because we have a lot of diasporic communities here. In my case, I follow events in the Philippines very closely, and it adds to stress and anxiety, but I do have family, friends, and comrades there. Some of the activities that I've been working on will include live streams of Asian artists. They're very popular now, live streams of musicians and other artists on Facebook and other platforms to generate funds or whatever. So we're working on live gigs of Southeast Asian progressive artists or activist musicians to, I guess, emphasize the solidarity between these communities. The other thing I've been thinking about or working on is resistant media or virtual protest, which is probably more active in the Philippines than here, but there are plans to do certain virtual actions, or they call them their e-mobilizations, because it's more of a mess there than here. And the government there is less responsive than here. So many groups are doing different things. But it led me to try and recall what was happening in the 90s with resistant media and virtual protest art. There's not a lot of material surviving from that period. I had a look at ANAT, ANAT, who were doing things on resistant media in the late 90s and early noughties. I think that page on it is not available anymore, but this might be a good time to look into that. Harari talks about, I guess, citizen empowerment as something that's an important thing to look at here and post COVID-19. So these are at least two things I'm looking at.
Great, thank you, Bong. We're going to have a go at finishing up shortly. I want to make sure that everyone's got access to that page to maybe add the comments and name, at least register that you're in the meeting and maybe reflect on it. We're going to, our meeting tomorrow is going to feature Katina Olsen, who's here with us today, and I'll just ask Katina just to say hi and introduce herself. She's going to be our featured artist tomorrow.
Hello. Hey everyone. Yeah, I'll do a little performance and I guess yeah, I'm Katina. I'm on Darumbal country at the moment. A project of mine was cut short and postponed, so yeah, it's led me back to one of my homes. Yeah, but it's really great to be with you all today, and I'll share a bit more with you tomorrow. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Can we say a big thank you to Susan for her signing for today's meeting. We're going to work out how to get better at this technology, but hopefully once the word gets around to people that there might be an opportunity to do this, we certainly want to make accessibility a strong focus and a conversation that we carry forward. A lot of the Artsfront work really is about imagining the future of the arts and cultural sector, and I think it's kind of more relevant now than ever in lots of senses. We get a chance to think about what future we want for the arts, and we don't necessarily have to recreate the things that have existed previously. We might decide to do things differently, and if we don't go back to a world where people are jumping on and off planes all the time and going around the world, then the sorts of stuff that we do together as a group might become incredibly important to that. So part of what we'll do together is kind of tease out some of those ideas and think about what are the implications for everything that's happening for our shared visions for the future. But in the meantime, it's about trying to connect, keep each other feeling good and enjoying as much as we can the process of kind of working through this and helping each other. And I particularly want to thank Lyndon and Nikki for coming on and joining us this morning. If there's a day where we get a little bit better weather, Lyndon, we might get you out and sharing a little bit of the stories and stuff that you were hoping to share with us today. We might even do a little bit of that tomorrow if that works out for you guys. Anything else?
No way, that sounds good.
Okay. Well, again, thank you all very much for joining this experiment, and we're looking forward to seeing your thoughts and ideas on that text page. We'll have the YouTube live recording that can be shared in other places and posted to other social media, and also obviously be on the little Lunch Online site. And we'll look forward to you guys helping us give this shape and also sharing it with other people and bringing other people into the conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Very good.
See you tomorrow.